Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Only kidding, guys. How you doing? I hope you're good. Thank you very much for coming back to the channel. If this is your first time seeing me, my name's Ryan. I produce content for anyone looking to develop their physique and take their physique to the next level. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. As you would have seen from the title, today was actually going to be a bit of a day in the life of an online coach. However, I sat down and I thought, why not speak through my journey so far in terms of how I got into the industry and everything that's happened between then and now, and how I've now progressed into being a full-time online coach. Before we start though, can we just appreciate the crisp setup? Literally just before I started recording, I had a delivery of a couple of new lights. I got like the Go V floor lamp there. Got a couple of other little lights over here. I already had a key light here as well. Just leveling up the channel a little bit. Good audio, hopefully, as well, if I record this right. Ultimately, just investing back into just producing as high of a quality of content as possible for you guys. I've sort of fallen in love with it a little bit. I've gone down a rabbit hole of starting to become a little bit of a geek in terms of like cameras and filming and lighting. And I used to watch fitness people and cars on YouTube. Now I watch channels like Think Media and anything sort of giving tips and tricks in terms of lighting and filming and content, etc. I love it. I love sitting down and sort of recording this stuff for you guys, and hopefully you gain some value out of this. But yeah, going back to the subject, rewinding right to the beginning. First of all, I was one of those lucky people that I knew what I wanted to do from a very early age. From, I'd say, even as early as 14, 15, I knew I wanted to be a PT. Fast forward to 17 years old, I was in sixth form, doing my A-levels, my BTECs coursework, easy way out. I found out that a college about an hour's train journey away from me was offering the level 2 gym instructor qualification for free to anyone that enrolled before they were 18. And at that time, I literally just had a weekend job working in a warehouse in Screwfix. Obviously didn't have any money. Sort of knew that if I was to leave it until after sixth form, I would then have to pay X amount of thousands of pounds to do this qualification. So I was like, right, I'm gonna go to sixth form in the day, 9 till 3 or whatever it is. I would then leave school straight away, go and get a train at around sort of 3:30, 4 to do an hour journey there down to Hastings. I'm from Tunbridge Wells, if anyone knows the area. So I went down to Hastings every day, an hour train journey. Started a class at 5, finished that class at 9, and then got a train home. Got home at like 10:30, 11, and then would do that again. And I would do that 3 times a week. So 5 days, obviously sixth form, and then 3 times a week I would head off after school and end up doing an extra sort of 4 hours of education there. That then allowed me to be a qualified gym instructor by the time I finished school. That then allowed me to, a couple of months later, get a job in Halo Gym, which a lot of you guys are familiar with in terms of the gym that I still train out of. I was a member there before. It was actually my granddad that started all of this off, because I was just in sort of a chain gym before, but I knew I wanted to go to Halo because it was a proper gym, good equipment. And my granddad, for either my birthday or Christmas one year, got me a year's membership at Halo. That ultimately started this whole journey off, because I built sort of a relationship with the people there, the people that worked there. They knew that I was already qualified as a gym instructor, and I managed to get a job as a gym instructor, as a receptionist. I think one of the biggest things that they saw in me as well before I even sort of started was I was already going to seminars. I was already going to educational courses and developing my education before I was even a PT and before I even had a job in a gym fucking making protein shakes. So that allowed me to get the foot in the door. So that's 17 years old. All right, 17, and then going into the year that I turned 18. From the moment I joined to up until I was around 18, I then did my level 3 PT qualification. So I did that online whilst working at the gym full time. And by 18, I was then fully qualified and I could start taking on PT clients. And from 18 is when I started my PT business. So I've been in the industry since I was 17. I'm turning 26 this year, but I started sort of officially PTing and coaching people as of 18. So a good sort of 8-9 years in the industry already. Now, between 18 and, let me get my notes out because I wrote all this down because I knew I'd forget. So 2016, when I was 18, up until 2019, I built my one-to-one PT business. I got up to full-time hours. I was on the gym floor as a full-time PT. And I then had the opportunity in 2019 to join the Muscle Mentors. Now, anyone that's been following me for a good few years knows that I was a part of the Muscle Mentors from the beginning. The founders, Luke Hoffman and Callum Roastrick, who I still work with, invited me on board as one of the first coaches to join the brand alongside James Sutton at the time as well. That was such an amazing opportunity for me because I found myself in a situation where I was part of a brilliant brand, a brilliant business. I was surrounded by some of the best coaches in the country and arguably the world. And that just accelerated my growth, accelerated my learning, and allowed me to develop so well from that sort of 2019 period. And then I've been basically online coaching since then. When I started working with Muscle Mentors, I was doing both. So I actually started literally just doing 1 day of online coaching, and then moved to 2, then moved to 3. And as I then increased my online coaching, I would then decrease my PT hours. And I got to the point now, moving into sort of 2023, I've built up to the point where I'm now a full-time online coach. So this is all that I do now. I have stopped PTing fully, which was a tough decision. Obviously, I PT for so long, and a lot of the clients that I still had, I trained for years, and I mean years, like 6 years, 7 years. So the hardest thing was sort of saying goodbye to them, but it was a necessary evil to take that next step in my career and ultimately free up as much energy and as much time throughout my week to do stuff like this now, in terms of putting 100% into online coaching the people that I intrinsically love to train, which is anyone that's a little bit more serious about training. Okay, so I like to put myself in that sort of middle ground between a general population client and a competitor. Imagine we've got general population competition, like they're the two extremes. I like to sit myself in the middle here. So all of you guys watching this that maybe don't have competitive goals, you're not a bodybuilder, but you're also not a general population client, you're not a general population person, you love training, you are so invested in the gym and your physique development, and you want to push yourself, you want to see how far you can take your physique. That's who I love to train, and that's who I do train now, which is amazing. And I also now coach a lot of coaches. So other people looking to sort of be coached by myself to experience what it's like to be taken through the online coaching that I offer, and through the company that I now work alongside, Pro Coach, with Callum and a load of the other lads there as well. And myself and Alex particularly, we are running something known as the Pro Coach process, which is something that we've designed in order to coach coaches directly, take them through a photo shoot prep, but we're also offering a full education package on the side, essentially taking coaches through everything they need to know in terms of the process that they need to go through within coaching with a client from the offset, in terms of onboarding, in terms of the consultation process, in terms of how to program, how to check in, how to track their progress, how to make programming changes moving forward, and how to coach people, right? So now I've come from this situation where 15-year-old lad, I had this, and it sounds cringy, but I had this dream of being a PT, and I did it. Like, right, I'm not gonna fucking mess about. I never wanted to work in an office. I never wanted to go to uni. I never wanted to just live a 9-to-5 lifestyle. I knew that I always wanted to build something for myself. I'm sitting in a situation now where my entire day is dictated around what I want to do. I can put my time and effort towards the things that I love, and I'm able to wake up and genuinely look forward to working. I genuinely look forward to coming and sitting at this desk every single day and checking in with my clients, making sure that they're on track, seeing people progress, messaging people back and forth on a day-to-day basis, making sure that they have sort of the support, the guidance, the structure that they need in order to do well. That also then allows me now to focus a little bit more on my own physique development, and I'm in a position now where I've got my own online coach. I am working towards my own physique goals, shorter term and longer term, and I'm loving my training, and I can sort of time everything in terms of my meals and my training around when is best for me. So built this situation where I'm in an ideal scenario. Okay, I can produce content, I can coach people, I can train, and just basically do those 3 things forever now. And that's amazing. So that should hopefully give you a bit of an insight into how the last 8 or 9 years have looked. And I think that the most important point to make there is the fact that I spent so long on the gym floor. I spent so long PTing. I spent so long actually sort of in the trenches, so to speak. I hate that saying, but in the trenches, learning and applying and developing all of those other skills that come along with being able to be a successful coach. Ultimately being able to just properly communicate with people, understand people from a deeper level, look at and understand and develop my theoretical knowledge behind that as well. And yeah, that brings us up to today. That brings us up to me sitting here in front of this camera with a light that has a pillowcase hung over it to diffuse it, because I know what diffusion means now, with a cool little red light in the background. Fucking love it, mate. That should bring us up to date. I'm now going to speak through how my day looks on a day-to-day basis a little bit, just to tie in the day in a life, and then we're going to wrap the video there. But hopefully that was valuable and sort of insightful in some way. So actually going into the day in the life part of this video, I think the biggest thing when you have so much flexibility is to have as much structure as possible. And that seems like a sort of oxymoron, but when you have flexibility, you need structure, because otherwise that flexibility just turns into unproductivity. Okay, so making sure for me that I have the exact plan that I need to go ahead and do every single day in terms of my calendar is laid out. I know what time I'm waking up. I know what time I'm doing cardio in the morning. I know what time I'm starting work. I know what time I'm finishing work. I know when I'm having my pre-workout meal, when I'm training, when I should be home, when that evening work block is. So to speak you through that, an ideal day, sort of Monday to Friday for me, which is when I do the majority of my client work, will be wake up at 6:30. I will then just go about my morning routine, get ready. I'll then jump on the treadmill, do a bunch of steps. I've got 10K to do at the moment. When you're sitting at a desk all day, as some of you guys may know, that is a good amount of steps. So I'd get a chunk out in the morning before the day starts. I then have a coffee and then jump on and do my cardio. At the moment, I've got 20 minutes every morning, 7 days a week. I've also then got a little bit additional cardio post-workout on a couple of days there as well. So that's my steps, that's my cardio ticked off for the day. All right, and I'll have that done within an hour of me waking up. I'll then get ready, have a shower, and then sit down, try and work from 8 until 9 on what I like to call sort of light tasks. So I'll get back to client messages. I will make sure that my post for Instagram that day is up and running and ready to go, whether it be scheduled or I post it in the morning, doing anything around that in terms of sort of last minute editing or making the cover for it on Canva, all those little sort of things that I need to tick off before my proper day starts. I then do check-ins from 9 until 12. Okay, so we've got 4 hours of concentrated work there on the main work within my day. That allows me to get the majority of my check-ins done a lot of the time. Any check-ins that I didn't get done within that 3 hour work block in the morning, I'll then do those in the evening. Okay, so anything between sort of 9 and 12 that doesn't get done, that will then be sent through in the evening. So from 12, I then go and have my lunch. I then try and leave for the gym after lunch, after cooking at around 1:15. I should then get to the gym after a sort of half hour to 45-minute journey, depending on traffic. I should be able to start training at around 2 o'clock. Okay, so from 2/2 is when once I've sort of chatted to people in the gym, started warming up, and then actually started training. So usually realistically between 2 and half 2, I'll then start training, usually for about an hour and a half. So that will take us up to around 4 o'clock. By the time I've then wrapped up, driven home, it's then 5 o'clock, and I'll then do my next block of work. So between 5 and whatever time I need to work until, but I try and shut off at 7:30, 8 o'clock is my shut off time there. So again, from 5 until 7:30/8 is another work block there. I'll finish up any check-ins from the morning. I will then make sure that I've got any admin tasks that I need to do that day done in terms of client programming, any just behind the scenes stuff in terms of admin there as well. And then from 8 o'clock, I then go and have dinner. I will always work a little bit throughout the evening, which is one sort of downside of online coaching. You can never fully shut off. There's always a message to get back to. There's always someone to like tend to and answer a question on or whatever. But I try to, after that sort of 9:30 mark, completely shut off, try and stay off my phone, no messages, no Instagram, and then try and just chill out, stick a bit of TV on, just shut off for the day. And that sort of hour for me between, let's say, 9:30 and 10:30, which is usually when I try and get to bed, is sacred in terms of just trying to properly shut off. That doesn't always happen. The harsh reality is when you run a business, when you're trying to push things in terms of progression, sometimes you end up working until 9, 10, 11. But most of the time, in an ideal world, I would be shutting off, having a good hour pre-bed, and then having sort of 10:30 to 11, no screens, and hopefully be asleep by around that 11 mark. That's my daily routine. Saturdays and Sundays will be a little bit different. So usually Saturday is a little bit more of a content day for me. So less client work, but more so client admin work in terms of any new clients that have come on board that week. I'll set them up on a Saturday usually. In terms of current clients, any programming or any admin around those, I'll get done. And then obviously I post on YouTube every Saturday. So I'll be sorting my YouTube out, getting that uploaded. And then Sundays is a complete chill. I usually try and not work at all. And if I do, it'll be for a couple of hours, simply just getting ahead of the week on a Sunday evening and just setting myself up for the week. So that's how my day looks. I'm really happy with where it's at the moment. It's taken sort of a little bit of time to properly settle into where I need to set my structure in order to be most productive and have the best sort of productivity throughout the day that I can and ultimately get what I need to do done. But I think that in terms of structure for me works very well. And I know a lot of you might be coaches yourself or looking into sort of coaching, but if you are an online coach and you have full flexibility, I would definitely recommend trying to get a good chunk of your work done done in a morning work block, whether that be starting earlier than I do. Usually I can start a little bit earlier if I'm not doing cardio and steps and stuff, but I think from 8 until 12, getting as much work through you can, doing as much hard work in the morning as you can, go in, train, come home, then you've then got that evening to get work done. So that's where I'm at in terms of daily routine. So that is a bit about my journey so far and my daily routine. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and found it valuable. As always, I release videos every Saturday at 6 p.m, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, do that YouTuber stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Just hope it's still recording. I'm scared.